I've had everything happen to me. I've been electrocuted. I've had stuff thrown at me. I busted my shin falling off the stage. I mean, played opening for a wild animal act and trying to get through the dressing room with an elephant.
For some reason, it was effortless for me. I never had a pitch problem. I could just sing.
Please welcome Frank Stallone.
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 In his world and his talent, he's, every bit as good as I am at what I try to do.
He's a five-tool guy. He can sing, he can act, he can perform, he can write, and he can fight like a son of a bitch.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm having a lot of fun on this Friday doing interviews and
Yeah.
talking a little bit about my crazy life in the movies. It's all good.
There's a lot to talk about, so
There is.
I'm sure you're going ahead with it. So that's good. Hey, you look comfortable. I love it. You're in your office. I love the backdrop.
Yeah. Yeah, just a lot of crazy things, a lot of books and a lot of, it's kind of like the cubby hole, it's like, it's where all the good stuff starts. So let's get started, man.
Yeah. Where are you at currently?
I'm in Los Angeles. How about yourself?
Okay. Chicago.
Still got your tree up?
Yeah, still got my tree up. Yep, it's a real one. It's about to fall apart, so it's going soon. But
a lot of needles all over the place.
Yeah, pretty much.
How's the weather there? Cold?
It's a little heat
Chicago.
wave. It's 38 degrees. So for this time of year, that's
actually not that bad for Chicago.
I know. It snowed though. This whole morning it was coming down really, really hard. So
a perfect day to do an interview then, right?
There you go. That's right.
Right.
I was so excited to get to talk to you, knowing that I was going to talk to you because we met before in LA. I remember this vividly. It was at the premiere of Joshua Ruiz, the documentary your brother did.
You mean the one with the boxing one?
Yeah. Joshua Ruiz. I think it was one night. I think it was called. It was at the Writers Guild. It was at the premiere of it at the Writers Guild Theater.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember talking to you. I interviewed Sugar Ray on the red carpet, and I remember talking to you and Sugar Ray, and I took a picture for you guys. It was just a classic moment for me. That was my first interaction.
Ray's a great guy. Ray's really cool, man.
Oh, so cool. It was funny too because I talked to him on the red carpet that night, and like 2 weeks before I saw him at O'Hare Airport. We're both going to LA.
He's a wonderful guy, man.
Yeah, so
awesome.
it was cool. I got to meet you then too, and just had great memories.
Well, I'm happy it worked out for sure.
Yeah. This documentary, I'm telling you, it was phenomenal. It was one of the best things I've seen in a long time.
Thank you.
And I see a lot of stuff. I mean, your life just a story in itself.
It is a story. I know it is kind of a story with it.
It's a story for a movie. I'm thinking this documentary could certainly be made into a feature film.
Yeah, it's just like perseverance, man. It's just one of those things.
No question. Frank, how did it come about? I mean, I noticed it was years in the making in a sense too, because, unfortunately, and some of the credits, some of the people that were in the movie passed away too by the time it came out. So how long was this in the making? When did you have an idea to do this documentary?
Right.
Tell me kind of the initial inception of it.
Well, in the making, I mean, if you go from start to finish, it's probably a little over 3 years.
Wow.
And they came to me, Derek, the director, who's a terrific director, came to me and he said, we'd like to do a story on your documentary on your life. I go, are you serious? Really? I mean, I was like taken aback because, you hang in this town for so long, you get beat up for so long, you don't believe anything. I said, yeah, right, whatever. So I didn't hear from him a little bit. And then all of a sudden he said, well, we're ready to get going. I said, really? I said, okay. And I just started going through my phone book and people that I knew, people that see me play, people that were friends of mine. And I got to say, they all, aside from 2 or 3, were very receptive, and it was great. I mean, the first person we did was Bruce Buffer, the announcer for
Oh yeah,
UFC,
yeah. I know Bruce. I've spoken to him before.
and
Too.
Boss
Great guy.
Rutten. Those were the first two guys.
Wow.
We go, wow, man, we got Boss Rutten and Bruce. And then after that, I went to my brother, I said, Sly, would you? Because he'd seen King of the Underdogs, Derek's movie about the director, John Avildsen. So, and I'd seen it and I thought it was fantastic. So I said, okay. So they went at it, and I wasn't at any of the interviews. I didn't really want to be.
You weren't? Okay. I was wondering if you were. I was going to ask you that, but you weren't, huh?
No, I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be at the, because I want people to say what they were going to say,
Yeah.
And that's what I was really interested in, what people were going to say about me. And some people I hadn't seen in, 50 years. Some of my first band members from the
That's
60s.
right. We see it in the
50
film.
years,
What was that like?
It was pretty cool, man. I got to say, it was very interesting. It was good to see, one, that they were alive, except for Mark, who just passed.
Right.
He was my first drummer. But he's the one that really believed in me out of the whole group. Other guys were like, well, Frank gets to sing everything, but he was a guy, yeah, it's because you can't sing. That's why. So he was like the oldest guy. He was older than me. And then he got drafted and went to Vietnam. There went the group. And then I moved on to another group. But that's my roots. That's the beginning. That's how the Frankster started, man, in that band. And that was very special to me because, we won the Battle of the Bands in Philadelphia. And that was like really special to me to have those guys around, And I wish there were a few people that I worked with that could have been in the movie, but they passed away or they were ill. Like Jody, the scene you see with the guitars, the bass guitars, I bought them. I just didn't want anybody else to have them. I'd known him since 1968. And I just didn't want some guy that's playing in, no offense, but like a wedding band. Like
no, I love that move. I thought you did a tremendous job. It's like you're preserving. You're a collector yourself. You know what I mean? So why not have something from something that was meaningful to your personal life?
And they go, are you going to change the strings? I go, absolutely not. Of course not. That's DNA, man. That's the stuff, And I wish he would have been in the video because he was very funny. He had like the greatest laugh, and we were just really good buddies. And I miss it because, a lot of my friends have died, passed away. But those are the type of guys that I don't fly to Vegas. I drive because the flight's ridiculous. So, and I would sit on the phone for 3 hours just talking about stuff we've talked about before, but that's still funny after 40 years. Hey, remember that girl? Oh, yeah. What happened? Oh, she's got like 20 grandkids. Oh, great. Yeah, that's the scary thing about being in the business along. I mean, in my mind, I still think I'm like 38, and then I'll see a beautiful girl. And she goes, are you Frank Stallone? I go, yes, I am. She goes, you know what? My mother loves your music. I'm like, oh boy, done. Or even worse, you used to date my mother. I'm like, oh boy, dead, done, finished. So
boy, you might, hopefully there's not too many of those instances.
Oh no, hopefully there's not. No, or you get that in the shopping line too.
Yeah.
Oh, Frank, I go, I have no idea who this is. I'm saying to myself, but they're acting like they've known you forever. So you just, you act like, I used the dyslexic thing, ADD thing. I said, you know what, man, I have bad memory. I also had 33 fights. I'm a little punchy. So so I just gave away my secret. I'm done.
Totally, yeah, but it worked. Hey, it's truthful. You did have fights,
Yeah, it did work. But the thing is, it's such an honor in a way. You think about it, it's an honor to have a movie about your life.
Totally. Hey, when you get to that point, that's success right there. I mean, because certainly not everyone gets a movie made about him, especially a documentary. Yeah. You must have made an impact in that way in a lot of people's lives and in the industry to have a movie and to have enough content and people speak about you to have a story, to have a rich life story, to have being told about you. That's an accomplishment, no question.
I mean, I think there's funny things in it too. When all of a sudden my brother's talking about a poster appearing tonight, Rocky's brother.
Yeah.
I mean, and I understand. I always had that fear when I pull up to a club, and we tell club owners, the group's Valentine, I mean, we're pretty well known. Okay, so and we pull up, and it's always appearing Rocky's brother. Not even my name, just Rocky's brother. Right?
I know. They could have at least put maybe Sylvester's brother.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Not
but
a
they put a
character.
fictitious person's brother.
Yeah.
Or, that was a good one. Or when I got shot, they didn't even have a picture of me. They have a picture of him dressed as Rambo. Rambo's brother shot, and he's mad. I go, how about me? I'm the one up to 72. But you have to, Jim, if you don't have a sense of humor, you could really go off your rocker. I mean, you could I know people that have had much less. I mean, they've turned to drugs and alcohol. They're a mess. I said, you know what, man? You got it. I think the movie does talk about intestinal fortitude and belief in oneself. I mean, that's what heroes, and I'm not a hero, but I'm just saying, there's, I believe I was put here for a reason. I believe all humans are, but I believe I was put here. God said, okay, we're going to give this kid, he doesn't have a good family like this, but we're going to give him a gift. And the gift is going to be music. And that gift will have you travel the world and meet some of the most wonderful people in the world. That's your gift. Don't abuse it. And I think my brother got it too, because we don't really have much education at all. I mean, we were not what you call great students. And so people go, did you ever think of getting another job? I said, doing what? I couldn't get through Algebra 1. What job am I going to do? Like cleaning bird cages or something. So, and also, Jim, I love what I do. I really enjoy it. I mean, I love the whole idea. We used to get ready to go on tour. The old idea, just getting your guitars ready and everything. Like going into battle. It was like really fun to do,
I kid you not, Frank. This movie spoke to me as if it was my story. I know it's your story, but I could relate to so many aspects of your life. I mean, I know you're far more accomplished than I am, and you're in a music industry, but I'm in the entertainment journalism industry, and I've done this for a few years. I've been in LA the last few years, and doing stuff, and I'm a self-created person. I never had anyone help me out or get anywhere. And I understood the struggle that you had to go through and those feelings of seeing your colleagues get the gigs that you didn't, and I go through that constantly. It's like, and I know I'm good at this. I know I can talk to people and interview.
Yeah.
And just like always knowing, like, why doesn't anyone notice this? Like, am I crazy? I would think to myself, like, am I crazy to think I'm good at this? Or why isn't anyone who, in a hiring position ever notice? Why do I have to do this on my own? And I lived through your story when you were talking about this. I could
parallel. Lives parallel each other. Even though you're in a different industry and a different world, there's little bits of it that are parallels in other people's lives of like, gee, how come I'm not where this guy is? And I did this and I did this. And why is that happening? I say it all the time. I go, how come this artist is getting $800,000 a night? And they're basically just phoning it in with tracks.
And when people aren't good, like they say the locker room talk, who's shitty on the team. Everyone knows in a sense. And, you're talented is undeniable. You're a hell of a performer and musician. But there's other ones who are making millions who don't have a lick of talent, but they, like you said, lip sync or doing, and you just wonder, like, what are we missing here? What are we missing here?
You know what this is what it is. They had a great team around them. See, I never had a great team. My brother and I never had mentors. I mean, no, there's always a lot of people, like a lot of acts I know that their fathers were accountants or lawyers. And they said, son, this is what you do with your money. You invest it here, you do this, don't marry this girl, this stuff like that. And they've gone on pretty good. My brother and I my father was a hairdresser. I mean, he didn't know anything about stuff. And basically we flew by the seat of our pants, most of our life. And but I think trusting in yourself, but the thing, Jim, you have to believe in yourself. If you don't, I remember, I said this before, I remember looking in the mirror at a party about 1970 in Philadelphia, one of these hippie dippy parties, whatever,
Yeah.
So, and I looked in the mirror. And I wasn't a big drinker, but that night I'd had a few things of wine, right? I was a little tipsy. I was a young kid. And I looked in the mirror and I was questioning myself. Am I doing the right thing? I was like 19. And I said, yeah, I am doing the right thing. And I said, talking to myself, I said, do you believe you can compete on the world stage? I go, yes, I
Mhm.
can. I believe God gave me this gift. I believe it's my destiny. I just do. I mean, and it's really hard to keep that faith going when you've had so much rejection. You go, oh my God,
Yes.
everything is going wrong. What did I do? You know, and this and stuff. And but you know, with all of it, there's been so many fun times and great times. I mean, I loved being in a band. I really did. I really, because we were all friends, you know. Of
Right.
course, one of the guys in the group doesn't think too much of me, but that's okay. Yeah.
Hey, no one will. You know what? I always feel like if
Not
everyone
everyone's
likes
gonna
you,
like it. No.
yeah, if everyone likes you in life, you're not being your true self. You're being a phony. Because the reality of life is people will dislike you for whatever reason, and you got to accept
Yeah.
it. You know, if everyone likes you, you're just not playing it straight in that way.
Yeah, it's like this person's too nice. It's impossible. No.
Yeah.
But you know, unless it's a yoga or something like that, or
Right.
operetta or something like that. But the thing is, what did you find one of the key points in the movie yourself?
Well, what I found is what I related to is that I feel like we have very similar personalities. Like when the world kind of turns on you and no one believes in you, and we keep on going. There's this confidence and inner faith in yourself, knowing that the whole world might turn on you, but you know you're good at what you do and you're kind of meant to do it no matter, like you feel like kind of you're like in a twilight zone that like, am I either crazy for believing in myself so much and keep on doing this with no apparent results sometimes, and seeing others kind of get in front of the line and take all the gigs and jobs that you kind of wish and you dream of, but you just keep on going at it. You know what I mean? Because people think you're crazy for doing like, well, where's the money? You know, because everyone wants to see.
I never got into
product.
You know, Jim, I swear to God, I never got in it for the money.
Yep.
I got into it for the groove, man. I got into it because I liked it. A lot of people go, oh, I got into it to meet girls. I didn't really get it. I got into it because I dug it. I mean, I was too young to be interested in girls. I started singing at 6. So obviously women were not the factor. I mean, maybe in some weird way. But the thing was, it was just, I was into it because I was just into it. I mean, think about it. I've never been married, never been engaged, never lived with anybody. I mean, this was my thing, and this was my thing. I mean, there have been, you know, romances along the way and stuff, but it was like, you know, I said, I don't think I'd be a good husband. Just because when the call comes, I'm going.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's like, it's almost like a mercenary soldier. When you get the call, you go, no matter what. If you're a soldier, you got to soldier on. And I felt that, you know, and my brother was the same way. I mean, this poor guy had like $110 in the bank before Rocky. Everyone wanted the script, but nobody wanted him. So he said, and I said, so it's maybe one of the best moves you made, because most people that are broke would have taken $300,000 in 1975.
Yep.
But he said, if everyone wants it, but they don't want me, that means it's good. So he said, and he basically said, this is my shot. And he was only like 29, and he was like ready to fold it. You know, he was like 29, you know, and I see these people out here, which is interesting, going like guys that are 28 years old, these .com guys that are billionaires.
Right.
At 28 years old, I don't think I had $400. I mean, I was nothing. I lived in an $80 a month apartment.
Yep.
You know, and that's what's the funny thing. When I lived in the ghetto of Trenton, when Rocky came out, you know, because we were in the movie, you know, we'd do some TV shows, and all of a sudden this limo would come pulling up out in this dump where I lived. Ghetto, man. So they either thought it was a pimp or a funeral.
Right.
Yeah, because there's no one getting picked up by limos in that neighborhood. And then all of a sudden, hey man, you Rocky's brother? I said, I say, you've known me 5 years. I told you about the movie. So, but all of a sudden they look at you, and when I was boxing, now everyone wants to kick my butt. Hey man, we'll knock Rocky's brother out tonight. I go, wait a second, guys, come on, man. It's like it's like a ghetto mentality, you know. Or even though they were my friends, they still wanted to kick my ass so they could go brag. Guess what, man? I knocked Rocky's brother out. So it was just like, and then I would try to knock them out, obviously, of course, because then I felt
you had the training. They didn't. Okay.
Well, no, these were Golden Glove guys.
Oh, they were.
No, these are real fighters. Yeah, these were like guys in the street. So I would have to fight because one, I would felt like a total. It's like when I fought Geraldo.
Yeah.
My brother goes, you cannot be allowed to get beat by him. He's a reporter. We're
Right.
Stallones. We're all about boxing. If you got beaten by a reporter, we could never, you know. And Geraldo obviously is in the documentary, and he's a lovely guy. I didn't have anything personal against him at all. It was Howard Stern's fault. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm. It's an, you know, that's what I mean. Like sometimes life is measured about the process of it, right? It's like everyone wants to get to the end result and, you know, the money, the fame and stuff, but they don't appreciate the journey along the way. And I feel like your story is a continuous journey that's still going, you know, you're still on your journey. And that's what kind of, sometimes when people sit back and realize that the journey might be sometimes the most interesting and fun part of it, that's when you can kind of validate it to yourself and enjoy it, you know, instead of like
the road most traveled or less traveled. What
Yeah.
road are you going to take? It's almost like On the Road by Jack Kerouac in a weird way. It's like, it's just like, I mean, I have had so many crazy things. I mean, I used to travel, and I know it sounds so foreign now because, you know, people are much more spoiled. Not everyone had cars. I didn't. So I used to get from state to state in either a Greyhound bus or a Trailways bus, and they weren't that comfortable back then. All I had was a guitar, like a gig bag, and I swear to God, a little collapsible, like duffel bag, and that was it. I had a few T-shirts, and that was my cowboy boots, and what I had on, and whatever was in there, and that's how I'd get around. Or I would take a train. So I go cross country by train, and it's really weird now. You go, well, all right, meet me at the train station. No one does that anymore. You go, meet me at the Trailway bus station. But things were cheap then. It was like a few bucks. You know, I mean, I think to go from Philadelphia to Florida was maybe like $11 on the train. And you'd sit there, you know. I remember I met some girls on the train. It was kind of cool. I was 21 years old, you know. Hair down past my shoulders, this skinny guy, you know, with the guitar. And you didn't see many people walking around with guitars then. So I'm on the thing, and I'd beat some of these really hot chicks that were my age. You sit there, you know, didn't have money to buy anything, so we just improvised, you know. But it was kind of fun. It was great. I mean, so those were funny things. I mean, I'll never forget in Maryland, getting trapped in the rain. I had my guitar and a thing, and I thought I missed the bus, and it was torrential rain. I must have walked 4 miles in the dark in that rain. My boots were like filled with water. And I was wearing leather pants. They ended up looking like beef jerky when they dried. So, I mean, it was just, but the thing is, that's how you got around. I mean, you didn't have anything. You know, I didn't have any place to live per se, and you crash on people's floors when you're in town. But
that's part of a survivor mentality too. I think that's what's kind of been your strong suit too through life. You know what I mean? You didn't have anything handed down. You had to work and bust your ass for everything. And that's what builds character and strength. Because people sometimes who get handed down stuff or have the easy way, they can't handle adversity. They can't handle, you know, things that they need to figure out on their own or do, and they fold. You know, and this way you are so tough skinned that you've seen it all at some point.
Oh, I've gone on stage. I said, you know what? I said, I've had everything happen to me. I've been electrocuted. I've had stuff thrown at me. I busted my shin falling off the stage. I mean, you know, played opening for a wild animal act and trying to get through the dressing room with an elephant. I mean, you know, when I was playing Johnny Squagg's Nugget, the star of the show was an elephant. So I had to squeeze through this elephant that was like going to the bathroom, because that was his dressing room, this cage. I had to go through there to get on stage. And it was like, it was amazing. Yeah. So if you bomb for an elephant act, you're in big trouble. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's like, yeah.
But you know what? It's also the mentality of like, what's the worst that can happen? You know, like I always think about this is, at the end of the day, it's showbiz. You know, no one's going to lose their life. No one's terminally sick. You know what I mean? If you bomb, it's forgotten eventually, you know, or in a week or two, people move on to something else. That mentality of like, you know, you just got to keep on trucking along because you're going to bomb along the way. And that's a learning.
Everyone bombs. I've seen Frank Sinatra bomb. Everyone bombs. Like, again, we were talking about, you cannot be afraid to fail, because if you are, you'll never take the shot. You'll stay in a comfort zone, and you will regret it the rest of your life. Like I went back, it was kind of scary. I went back to my high school reunion, hate to say my 40th.
Oh, wow. You did?
And it was like, wow, It was like the Night of the Living Dead. I mean, there are guys that I thought in high school were like the coolest guys. They just broken, old, like bitter guys because they never took the shot. And so what they do is they turn that around on me. Here he is, Mr. Hollywood, Mr. Big Shot. I go, okay, whatever. I said, but at least I took the shot. And I took the shot in probably the most insecure business in the world. Yeah. I mean, you're working at your uncle's dry cleaner. I mean, okay. And you married someone, you've been miserable for 40 years. I said, most of my existence was kind of a lonely Spartan existence. And in a world that's really tough. I don't know where I'd be if Sly never did Rocky. You know,
do you ever wonder? I was going to ask you that. Where do you think? I mean, any idea? What do you think would have happened?
I would still be doing what I'm doing because I had no other skills. So I had a band. You know, we signed with RCA Records, and all that stuff. We were a really good group. I would have just gone on playing music. I don't know how successful I've been. I mean, what would my brother done if he hadn't done Rocky? He'd probably still be doing like commercials and Death Race 2000. 2020, something like that. So we don't know. It's that's what's the mystery. I know I'd still be playing music. I know that because I would not be good in like a normal job. That's just not my gig. Like people telling me.
I get it.
No,
I get it.
Hey, man.
I can't imagine 9 to 5s. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like a creative person where I'm a night owl. I do things like I like to be in control kind of what I do and use my creativity of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would not do good like in the workplace, like working in like a cubby hole, being told what to do by some idiot. I could not do that. No. And I know that the last job, the real job I had was 1973. And I was still playing music, but I had to get a job. I was living next to my brother in Manhattan. I was, believe it or not, a shirt salesman at Bloomingdale's, which I was clueless. I wouldn't know a good dress shirt from a pair of soiled underwear. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I was a young kid. I was tucking my hair inside my collar because you couldn't have long hair. And I hated it, but it was an experience. But one thing I did realize, these people, okay, listen, stand at your post. I said, oh, come on, man. And my brother and I were ushers and we got fired. We were the worst ushers in the world. We put on these smelly used tuxedos that the other person wore, and there was no one in the movie theater. They were doing an Indian film festival of Merchant Ivory, Bombay talkie. And this is in New York City, like 4 people will come in the theater. Wow. The guy goes, all right, you guys are slacking off, stand your post. I said, there's no one here. And the guy was like really uptight, the manager. And we had these really cheesy tuxes on with cowboy boots. And I said, Sly, I said, we're not cut out for this job. He goes, yeah, we were like sitting there like, the worst. And then what happened next week of Savior was the Elvis movie came on, The Way It Is, the documentary. Okay, yeah. So now the place was crawling with young chicks and guys. We're all right, baby, we're on. And we were still lousy ushers. So we got fired. He said, you are not up to snuff for the Little Carnegie Theater. I said, I don't think the Little Carnegie Theater is ready for us either. So it was just like, but we got fired for, it's just some people aren't made for it.
Right.
Some people are, they regimented jobs, I mean, listen, my oldest brother was in the service for 20 some years and he's a really cool guy, but he went at 18. I mean, he was a kid, but the thing is, he goes, after a while it got tired, but some people love being in the military because everything's done for them. They come from a lousy background. Structure, and it's like a family to them, which is really great. And it's, and it's challenging, but it's just, but I think in the whole, the movie's fun. I mean, there's only one curse word in the movie, and that's me.
I know. I've noticed that. I'd expected a lot more. I expected a lot of F-bombs, but I didn't get it.
And we didn't put up any rules. There will be no cursing in Frank Stallone's documentary. No, it was just the way it was. And mine, the only thing because I'm still pissed off about losing that Oscar nomination to Barbra Streisand for a song that never even got on the chart.
Right. And yours
because the thing is, I didn't think I was going to win. I thought my man, Michael Cimbella, was going to win for Maniac. That's what I thought was going to win. But we were all 3 #1 records, and all of a sudden they take my record off. And it just would have been cool that two brothers were nominated for Academy Awards, one in music and one in movies. Now, how about if this movie got nominated for Best Documentary? Would that be a trip?
That would be something. And you know what? It's the best one I've seen in a while. And I see a
Would
lot
that
of
be crazy, Jim? I was having a dream about that last night. And I wasn't taking CBD oil either. But I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, this is a Rocky movie. What would happen
It is.
if we got nominated for Best Featured Documentary and I won? And I'm thinking, what would I don't know. I'd probably have a heart attack. I'd probably die on stage, which would be okay. I wouldn't know what to say. I'd probably be so emotional and so taken, thinking about all the friends I've lost and everything that was the combination of making Frank Stallone. I don't know how I'd handle it. I don't know. I think I would be a wreck. I don't think that'll happen because my brother's been screwed 3 times. So maybe 4th time.
Maybe it runs in the family that way.
Yeah, right.
Just short of that. That completes your story in that sense. But
always the bridesmaid, never the bride, right?
Right. But that's why you're single, right? Maybe that's
why I'm single. Yeah,
Yeah.
but wouldn't that be something like to win something? The most unlikely thing, a 70-year-old guy that's been banging around for 55 years. But you know what? It's almost like that movie. Remember that great documentary, Looking for Sugarman?
Yes. Yep.
How great was that?
Super.
This guy lived in obscurity for like 55 years in a dump.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I thought that was one of the most moving, fantastic movies I ever saw, documentary. But that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Our documentary was done on a shoestring budget. I mean, Derek basically edited this in his bedroom, in his apartment. But that's the Rocky thing. Rocky, again, cheap, low budget movie, no big actors in it, but it had soul, man. And that's what it's about. And I hope my movie has soul, and I hope my movie reaches out to people like what you just said, Jim. You see parallels in your life with this life. So maybe that is a good thing for people.
I'm telling you, Frank, God's word to you, a truth. That movie spoke to me like nothing else. I literally saw myself through your story, and you know what? It gave me more reassurance that I'm doing the right thing too, by seeing how you persevered and how you keep on going, through all the obstacles that you've had, way more than I have.
But I'm older. You got a few more years to get some obstacles.
Yeah, but it really reassured me to be like, you know what? I think there's a lot of Frank in me, and just at a different timeline, but I have the same mentality as you, and I understand what you're going through. So it just keeps me stronger.
It's just sticking with it. And it's like, but now you got a bigger hurdle ahead. Is getting that Christmas tree down.
That's right. That's a
I
big
think the
hurdle.
star is falling to the side. I
It's
think
falling off, but
no, I'm like you. I take my Christmas tree down when it kind of disintegrates. That's easier.
There you go. Frank, I had such a blast talking to you. It was so cool to reconnect with you again. And boy, I have like 1,000 more questions, but hopefully you can set up something else.
We can just call Lee and the gals. Yeah. Anytime, man.
Absolutely. I want to talk some boxing.
Let's see what happens. We'll do a retrospect after it comes out. Let's see how the people treat us.
Absolutely. I'll write a really positive review about the film too. So
thank you so much, Jim. Thank you, and God bless, and have a great New Year, brother.
You too. I'll talk to you soon. Talk soon, Frank. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Take care. Bye-bye, Jim.
I always wonder what has kept me in this game. But, I just keep coming back to it. I love it.